What is up everyone, and I'm sure you clicked on this video because you're wondering how can I turn a Scorch Knife into a good looking combo. Well, as you can see in this example, I picked Scorch Knife Classic and combined it with black tie gloves, and in my opinion it looks pretty good. Now obviously for the T side you can go for default gloves as well, they look decent enough, but if you want to go for gloves, you want to have some gloves, you should go for black ties. Now the other gloves that you could go for are unhinged gloves. They don't look bad either, but I think black ties are a bit better in my opinion. And I really love the color contrast because you have black and white with obviously a black Scorch Knife. Now the Scorched does have some white elements to it, it's not crazy. I think it looks pretty decent with black tie gloves. So yeah, maybe you have a Scorch Knife lying around, you don't really like it, you want to sell it, well maybe consider something else. Consider buying black tie gloves and making that Scorch Knife into a nice combo. Up next we have Knight knives, and in this case I combined the M9 Knight with unhinged gloves. I think unhinged gloves are your best bet instead of lunar weave gloves. I mean, again, similar to the Scorch knives, you can even use default gloves, at least on the T side, for Knight knives, because it does look pretty decent. But if you don't want that, you want to buy some gloves, go for unhinged gloves. Now obviously Nox gloves, they work as well. They are a bit darker though, but they do work as well. I mean, if you have some other options, consider writing in the comments down below so people know. But in my opinion, I think unhinged gloves are your best choice here, just because you want to save some money. Knight knives are not that expensive and it does look pretty decent. Up next we have Urban Mask knives combined with smokeout gloves. Now in this case I picked the Nomad, no reason for it. Every Urban Mask knife looks pretty much the same. Also, if you did not know, some Urban Mask knives have these white gems where the pattern is mostly white, so if you want to look for that, you can, but they are usually way more overpriced. And in this case I think this still looks pretty good. Smokeout gloves are very affordable. Urban Mask knives are also cheap, so consider getting this if you like white combo. Let's say you want a white combo but you can't afford snow leopard gloves and a talon, for example, then you can pick any Urban Mask knife and smokeout gloves and you're good to go. I think it's a pretty good white budget option and you should definitely consider it. Don't shy away from these quote-unquote ugly knives. No knife is ugly in my opinion. Every knife has potential. Every skin, that is, has potential. Just need to pair it well with the gloves. Up next we have finish line gloves combined with Gamma Doppler 4, Gamma Doppler Phase 4, or even Phase 2 works as well. I think, now the reason I picked the Bowie is because the Bowie has these accents on the handle that complement the gloves really nicely. Now the other option for the knife would be Shadow Daggers, but then again any knife works. It's just that Bowie and Shadow Daggers shine a bit more because they have a little bit different accents compared to other knives. And as you can see, finish line gloves are usually extremely hated because they are very hard to pair with. For obvious reasons, you have this racetrack team of black and white tiles, but as you can see, I found a way to pair them. Now I know this video is about ugly knives, but same thing applies. Let's say you have Shadow Daggers Gamma Doppler Phase 4. You don't really like Shadow Daggers. Most people don't. What should you do? Don't sell them. Buy finish line gloves. And there you have it. You have a very nice combo. It's creative, looks good, and you should be satisfied. Next up, we have Mogul gloves combined with bright water knives. Now in this case, I picked the bayonet. Doesn't matter which knife it is. Any bright water is the same. So usually people would go for polygon gloves with bright water knives. That's like common sense, I guess. But if you want to be a little bit creative, you can go for Mogul gloves. I think they look way better compared to polygon gloves. Polygon gloves are way too dark and they're just completely blue pretty much. And I think polygon gloves shine way more with bright water knives. Now the bayonet is a bit small, so these gloves do shine better when you have a bigger knife. For example, Huntsman, M9 Bayonet, Bowie, those knives look incredibly well, and you should definitely consider it if you're looking for a blue budget loadout. Up next, we have Racing Green gloves combined with any lure knife. Now in this case, I picked the Bowie just because it's affordable, even in factory new version. Although you don't really need factory new, you can go for minware, and this combo costs you maybe 250 euros, that's nothing. And if you're looking for a lure knife, but you know you can't afford the fancy knives, for example like an M9 Bayonet, a Rambit, Butterfly, you can't afford those, but you want to go for something creative. So most people you will see, they will go for yellow gloves to complement the yellow lure knife. Now in this case I picked the Racing Green gloves, which complement the handle of the lure knives. Every lure knife, there is no exception, every lure knife has a green handle. So these gloves, they are also extremely underrated, they're cheap, so a way to pair them is with lure knives. It looks incredibly well, it is creative, and you definitely won't see it in game because people don't really use that. If you do see lure knives, people will go for Omega gloves because you know they do look better, but they're way more expensive. Up next we have Imperial Blade gloves combined with freehand knives. To be honest, I never see anyone using freehand knives in game for obvious reasons. It looks ugly, but if you do have a knife and you don't really want to get rid of it, you could go for Imperial Blade gloves. Now they are a bit expensive. It is what it is. One of the two purple gloves in game. So I think it is worth it if you like the color purple and you don't want to get rid of your freehand knife. So pretty much any freehand knife pairs really well with the Imperial Blade gloves. The only downside is you will most likely have to get these gloves in battle scarred or well worn, because anything above is way too expensive. They will be a bit scratched on the knuckles, but it is what it is. You like the knife, you like the color purple, you should definitely consider this combo for your purple inventory. Up next, we have safari mesh knives combined with mangrove gloves. Now let's say you want a karambit, but you can't afford anything fancy, so you decide to buy a safari mesh. What will you do? It looks ugly, it's hard to combo with. So what do? You buy mangrove gloves. Why? Because take a look at this. Looks absolutely amazing. Now, obviously people hate the safari mesh knives and even these gloves because they remind them of safari mesh. But I think any knife can shine and any glove can shine if you pair it really well. And in this case, I think this is a really good combo for people who like this kind of washed out green, I guess. Swampy green, I would say. Looks pretty decent. And if you like karambits, why not? Maybe you were looking at safari mesh knives and you want to buy some good safari mesh knife. Buy a karambit, for example. Go for these gloves. Why not? Any safari mesh knife pairs with these gloves. And you can even build your whole inventory around these gloves, because why not? It's a great budget option for those who are looking for a green themed inventory. Up next, we have Forest DD Pet gloves combined with Forest DD Pet knives. Common sense, I know. You never see people use this in game, because Forest DD Pets are usually hated. No one likes a camo finish, but it is what it is. That is why it's cheap. So maybe you want a butterfly, but you can't afford anything fancy. You can go, just like for safari mesh, you can go for Forest DD Pet and combine it with Forest DD Pet gloves. Both those options are cheap and it looks pretty good in my opinion. You can even use some camo agents that you can check out in my previous video where I combine agent, knife and glove combos. You know, if you're looking for some combos that include the agent, check out the previous video. I will also leave it in the description down below and at the end of this video, so make sure you check it out. And yeah, I think this combo is pretty good. Another great budget green option, camo option, I guess. You should definitely consider it if you want a green themed inventory, but you don't want a simple green. Maybe you want a camo green. I think this is a pretty good option. Up next, we have one of my favorite underrated combos, bronze morph gloves combined with gut knife gamma dopplers. Now you can see gut knives are incredibly hated. Obviously, they look ugly, I guess. For some people they do. For me, they don't. Guys, as you can see in this example, we have bronze morph gloves that have this bright red that complements nicely the handle of the gut knives. Any gut knife that has a red handle looks incredibly well with these gloves, and obviously the green dots on the gloves complement the gamma doppler blade. In this case, it is emerald because it looks the best. You can go for gamma doppler phase 1 through 4, doesn't really matter, looks good either way, and you should definitely consider it if you're looking to buy yourself a gamma doppler combo but can't afford any fancy knives like a karambit M9, because they're, let's be real, they're insanely expensive, and this is a great combo, a hated knife and a hated gloves combined into one, which makes an amazing combo in my opinion. Up next, we have Badlands gloves combined with gold gem case hardened knives. Now, in this case, it is not a perfect combo, let's be real, but you can see the lighter patches on the Badlands gloves. They do complement nicely the gold gem case hardens. In this case, it's not a bright gold gem, but it still looks pretty decent. Maybe you have a case hardened knife lying around, but it's gold, which most people go for blue, obviously, blue gems. But gold gems are extremely underrated as well, and you should definitely consider it if maybe you don't want a lore knife, let's say, for your golden inventory. Maybe you want a gold gem case hardened. So this is a great choice. Now again, these gloves are not perfect, but in my opinion, I think they work really well with gold gem case hardens, and you should definitely consider this. And lastly for this video, we have constrictor gloves combined with high float rust coat knives. Now obviously rust coat knives, you don't really see them much in game, let's be real, and you don't see much in game these gloves either. So what should you do? Let's say you have a high float rust coat lying around in your inventory and you consider selling it. Maybe don't. If you like the color brown, go for constrictor gloves. There really aren't any other brown options in terms of knives. High float rust coats are your best bet here, so you should definitely consider it if you like the color brown. Maybe some people will tell you that it looks like shit, which in terms of color it does, but if you like the color brown, why not? Get it. No one is stopping you. You should do what you like. Get what you like. You shouldn't listen to other people, obviously, and I think this looks pretty decent. You should definitely consider getting it if you like the color brown. So those are all of the combos for today, all of the underrated knives that I showed you. I think people consider them ugly, and they do, let's be real. And I think I gave you some good combos that maybe will change your mind about these ugly knives, quote unquote. And if you enjoyed, please drop a like, subscribe, because it truly helps me out a lot, helps me make more videos like this one. And of course, if you have any ideas, anything, comment it down below. I will make sure to answer, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out.